Greetings. In this video, we will review the checklist for faculty who wish to offer proctored exams via e-learning. So we will look at two types of exams, one proctored by the testing center and one proctored at an off-campus location. Let's start with exam 1, which is a regular online exam. Select its drop-down button. Go into Edit Test Options. Make sure that the exam name matches the name from the testing center form. This allows the proctor as well as your student to identify your exam quickly. Next, check that the exam is available. Starting with the command, Make Available to Students is set to Yes. Any exam that only provides one attempt leaves the multiple attempt options alone. Forced completion is also off, but make sure that you have set a timer with the correct time and that Auto Submit is turned on. The display after and display until dates and times must reflect the exam time window that you shared with the testing center. To ensure that students can only take exams at the testing center, go to the Restrict location. Click the drop-down and choose Testing Center. When the Restrict location setting for the testing center is active, you do not need a password because this feature prevents students from taking the exam anywhere else. If any student needs an exception on a test for time and a half, or if a student needs to take a test at a different time outside of the testing window, then scroll down to Testing Exceptions and select the command Add User or Group to edit the student's test attempts, test times, and test dates. If you want to require the student to take your exam at the UTD Testing Center, then you also need to select the Restrict location that appears in the option column. Scrolling down, make sure that the due date is entered correctly. This means that the due date is the last date and time on the regular testing window. Please leave the command. Do not allow students to start the test if the due date has passed alone, as this option blocks any test attempts, including testing exceptions, for a student who is scheduled to take the test after the due date has passed. You do not want to block a scheduled student from taking the test. Under Test Results and Feedback, for high-stake online proctored exams, we strongly recommend not showing any information about the questions, the correct answer, and other information once the test has been taken. So our recommended settings are to keep these columns blank. If you do not want students to review their grades after they complete the exam, then select the After Submission drop-down menu for the option After the Due Date. Once you've gone through these settings, you can go ahead and submit. Now, Exam 1 is ready to be proctored. So I want to demonstrate what happens when a student tries to take Exam 1. After I select Enter Student Preview and navigate the course as a student, when I select Exam 1, e-learning blocks my test attempt. Now that you know how to set up a UTD Test Center proctored exam, let's look at the other option, how to set up a test that needs to be taken at a remote location. If you have a student or students in the same class who need to take an exam at a different testing center, then you can complete the same test option setup with only one difference. So, I will navigate to Exam 2, select its option button, to select the Edit the Test option command. Once I have set up the name, the availability, the test attempts, the timer, the display after and display until. I enter a password, and leave the restrict location alone. I then continue to add testing exceptions, a due date, and decide how to show the test results and feedback to students. Please note, if you've already randomized your test questions, you do not need to randomize those questions again in the test presentation. But once you've made your changes, be sure to save with the submit command. Please note, once you create and share your test password with both locations, do not change the password, as the change could prevent students from taking your exam. So these are the two ways to set up an online test offering an online Proctor exam at a testing center. For more information about online tests, please visit our website or email us at elearning@utdos.edu.